Hello and welcome to another episode of Nathan's Garage. A little bit of a change of tack, but we have a new vehicle. And this vehicle is officially called Buzz Loose Rear. And there's a very, very important reason why it's called that. Because he cannot keep control of his rear end. So today we are going to be combating a thing in the QX4 Pathfinder world called Death Sway. Which basically you drive along at a constant speed on the freeway, the back end starts kind of shimmying and shaking around until a point where it probably, maybe, or nearly puts you on your roof. So what actually happens on this vehicle, you've got the axle, say the front of the vehicle that way, back of the vehicle that way, you have your rear axle, and on here it's held with what's called a four-link, so you've got two bars attached to your axle and attached to the body, so as it goes up and down, basically those four bars and the drive shaft hold it in place, and then you have what's called a panhard rod which runs across the vehicle. It's attached at the actual axle and the body, and that stops it going side to side. Now when it was brand new, it's a system that's been used on many vehicles and works fine, but what I'm assuming when we get under Buzz here is that they're going to be out of their brain worn, and it's causing the axle to move side to side and back and forth, and causing this shimmy and wobble, which seems to be a fairly common thing on these. So let's have a look at the bushes and then let's get it up in the air. Oh, one thing that I'm going to be doing is I bought enough bushes to do two of the bars, and then for the other two bars and the panhard rod, to save a bit of money, I've bought some polyurethane in a tube for like sealing windows, sealing roofs, all that kind of stuff. I assume plenty of you have seen it on YouTube where people make their own bushes. So I'm going to have a go at that, save a little bit of money. The bushes cost $70, the Stessa 4, and the polyurethane in the tube cost like 8. So 8's better than 70 if it works. So let's have a look at it. Okay, so let's see if we can actually make it do it now. I'm on a flat freeway, constant speed. Okay, so let's see if we can get Buzz Loose Rear to do the Death Sway. Kind of on a level freeway right now, pretty constant speed. So when you apply, oh there you go, oh, holy shit! I swear to God, if you kept your foot in this thing, it'd be on its roof. Jesus, Nissan, what were you doing? Christ almighty. Oh, whoa, there we go. Oh, there we go. So yeah, there's just so much play in the back end that this thing's an absolute bloody death trap. Okay, polybush time it is. If any of you have been watching this channel for a long time, you'll realise I have new workbenches. So here we have the bushes. I kind of like the name, problem solving bushes. Got these ones from Armstrong Distributors. There is a 4x4 parts company that does an entire kit for the rear end, not the panhard rod, but including shipping it was like, I don't know, $230 or something, and I just don't want to spend that kind of money when this is, Buzz is going to be the dog, barn, horse, dirt vehicle anyway, so I just want it safe. Yeah, so I got it from Armstrong off Amazon. And those are them, the split bushes, so they should go in pretty easy. There you go, and then you get supplied with grease and press them in. Okay, let's get her up in the air. Right, walking to it from the back of the vehicle so you can get an idea of where everything actually is. So it has four links. One, that's the lower link, that's the upper link. So you have two on each side, which creates the four link, and then that there. So they control the movement up and down as the axle does that with the suspension movement, and obviously back and forward movement. And then this one here is the panhard bar, and that is connected to the axle on one side and the chassis right there, and that controls the movement from side to side. So a combination of massively worn bushes in all of those components is causing this axle and rear suspension setup to have a life of its own. Oh my word, check this out. So this is a lower bar. There we go, come on, focus. This is one of the lower bars. Look at this. Look at that. Dawn. She is darn. This one as well. You see all the tearing around there. Nice. Okay. This should be a bit harder. Because these bushes were so far gone, this central sleeve that was in there, I could just cut out with a craft knife the few bits of rubber that were holding it back in. So what I need to do now is, with the Sawzall down there, is we've got to basically get out this outer casing of the actual old bush. So I don't know, I may hit it with a chisel or I may cut it with a Sawzall through the centre without, you know, going into this outer part of the arm. You know, figure it out in a minute. Use the Sawzall to create a weak spot there, cut a groove, not quite all the way, and then started hitting this edge with the chisel. Now you can see it just started splitting, so that'll all come out, and then this outer race will come out of the arm. There you go. So cut that trough, which became a weak point, which split, then it just taps out of the arm, which is there. So we just got to clean the edges, clean the insides, and then push the poly bushes in. There we go, bushes in. These are actually pushed in by hand. They're a split bush and they pushed in from either side by hand. What I tend to like to do, I mean, these may be self-lubricating bushes because they feel kind of oily. I tend to not like to put grease on the outside, but put grease on the sleeve, because obviously that's the point. It's going to get clamped and move. So yeah, so that is in. So back on the truck. We're all back in on the driver's side as well. Now what I had to do on the passenger side, just had to lift it up, just put a little bit of tension on the trolley jack, lift the axle up, and the bolts came out. Now on the driver's side, I've had to put a ton of pressure on with a strap to pull the axle forward. Now the spring is lent slightly back, so it may be pushing the axle back more on this side, and I wonder what the effect of maybe the Panhard rod pushing this back, I don't know. But on this side, had to use a strap to pull the axle forward to get the bolts in for this lower rod. So did polying just the two lower bars of the 4-bar rear suspension work? I can say a resounding yes. About 98%, I would say, of the death sway in the rear end of Buzz Loose Rear has gone. The upper arms, the bushes, although not as bad as the actual lower arms, still aren't centered, so there's a ton of wear in them. And the Panhard bar as well, I can't really see the bushing in that, but it's not as bad as the lower rear arms. They were by far the worst, and most of it has been taken out. Got up to 70 on the freeway today, and pretty much rock solid. Still feel like I say, about 2% of a bit of float in the rear end, which I think will be taken up when I do the poly squirt into the old bushes when they're recentered. But I'm going to do this as a part 1, get used to how the rear end feels right now, and then do a part 2 with doing more. So yay, so I'm so happy. I really am so happy that what was really kind of a quick job, very straightforward. Tools you need, 17mm standard socket, 17mm deep, 19mm I'd go with a thick wall, breaker bar, impact gun, that's the kind of stuff that I used. Ratchet strap to move the actual axle around so you can get the bolts back in for the arms, and that's pretty much it. Not a bad job at all. So, job done, happy days. See you for part 2.